This episode is sponsored by Squarespace. Welcome back. This is episode 4 of making a tiny steam power hammer. In the last episode, we made this component. Well, today, I noticed that the alignment between the mouthpiece and cylinder was a little bit off, only just by a couple of thous, so we faced that off, which means that it is now time for chest day. Oh, don't you love chest day, Jamie? We are making the valve chest. It is component number 38, and it mounts to the back of the cylinder, and within it, that jelly baby's been in that drawer for like a year.
Tastes good.
The piston valve is inserted. Have a look at this line. It goes up, across, down, across, in, to show that this bad boy goes in there, and it is this part that allows for control of the ram by modulating how much air goes through this hole, how much air goes through that hole, which conveniently lines up with those two 1/8" 90-degree holes on our cylinder that open up into this little port. Here is what we're starting with. Let's go ahead and get this thing made. Now, I made a mistake on this valve chest, and that is that I didn't spot this measurement call out on the drawing. And the result is these really dodgy spot millings around the holes that I did, and that's because I had to mill down so far to make sure that the bolts would stick through enough. Have a look at the pair of central holes on the valve chest and the cylinder. As you can see, they line up. The threaded hole on the back is the air inlet. That's where the air goes in, and it gets directed through either the lower or the upper central hole, having the result of then going into the cylinder and either going up through the 90-degree hole or going down through the 90-degree hole, and that is how the ram is controlled. Now, next up, we have another small problem to tackle, and that is that the casting on the mouthpiece that we made a while ago has a radius that doesn't allow a bolt head to sit flush, so I want to change that real fast. We've had more deliveries, just a small one. We've got brand new 12mm carbide end mill and a reamer, 9/16 of an inch diameter, and this is actually what we need to fully finish the hole on this part. There is another thing that's arrived, which is this. See, while I've been plodding away, we've been thinking about organization. And so up here on the mezzanine, Jamie, they are looking phenomenal. Look at these beautiful shelves that you're doing. Amazon specials, and they're quite sturdy, dare I say.
Alec doesn't know how to put these shelves together.
No, I don't. I said, hey, we shouldn't get this type of shelf because it'll be horrible to assemble. And you're saying it's been a doddle.
I could have probably put these together when I was 3 years old, yeah.
Great. We should bring them out so that you have access from both sides. These are quite deep shelves. That way you can put things at the back, put things at the front, access them from both directions.
You called them shelves instead of shelves.
And you see, we're filling those shelves with the contents of these shelves, which until the other day were just overflowing, which is hardly helpful because then you don't know what you've got. But you see, the lack of organization doesn't just end there, it also ends here in my machining drawers. Oh, this tool chest is absolutely horrible. No bueno. And that's what this is for, but not the whole thing. Just the little organizers, because when you buy one of these things, these little trays are like 50 cents a piece, like 50p each. And I dare say they're perfect little additions into a tool chest. Alrighty, so there we go, bit by bit making progress on all of this stuff being a little bit more organized. Yes, very good. With that, let's get back to this part to make sure those bolt heads can sit flat. It looks like crap. It looks awful. I think I might have made it worse. I think this would have been a good candidate for a ball end mill, but I didn't have one. I think we're gonna have to clean this up by hand. There we go. That'll do. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, Mr. Part. Shit. What? It's not right. What? That's not good. Oh! Oh, it's perfect, I made it. Oh no! It gets worse! Ooh! Oh, it's okay, Jamie. It's okay. I found something. My Squarespace website. Oh, it's perfect. But why is it perfect? It's perfect because it is the website that you need each and every single day because you can update it. Life and your business changes and evolves. And there's no point being stuck with a clunky old website that you've got to pay somebody to mess around with every time you want to change a picture or update your layout. With Squarespace, simply log in from their handy app on your phone or hop onto your computer, and their countless drag and drop themes mean that editing your site to be exactly what you need to be showing to the world is effortless and instantaneous. Sites scale perfectly for your audience from mobile to PC, and you'll be able to sell unlimited products, whether physical or digital. If you sell your time, you can take bookings, you can run all your email marketing right within Squarespace. It does not take long to build a beautiful website with Squarespace, and by goodness is it inexpensive, especially when you use code FORGE at checkout. So please go get a free trial, squarespace.com/forge. You'll get 10% off your first purchase using code FORGE at checkout. Right, what do we do next, Jamie? Okay, so at last now we get on to part 35, our valve piston. Let's go. What's it gonna be made out of? There's our drawing. That must be it. Or is it that? 35, piston valve, stainless steel. That must be this. Oh, I like that. They did me a favor for once. So this little bit of round bar is going to need the following bits of work done to it. We need to drill a 3/32 diameter hole. That hole will get drilled down. Then we're going to be notching out these two little recessed areas to 7/32 diameter. We'll have to flip it around, make a little tang here at the bottom before it goes to the milling machine, where we have to drill a 3/32 diameter hole. That hole's gonna pop in to the big long hole that we made earlier. I'm actually gonna save this hole for later so I don't weaken the rest of the material. All right, so we've got that made, but the trouble is, it's about 5/1000ths of an inch too proud, and not perfectly concentric either. So I want it to fit a little bit better in the valve chest, so let's try a little bit of this valve grinding paste. Seems like that should do it. We've got a coarse end and a fine end. Whoa, look at that lovely stuff. Isn't that fabulous? We'll test with some oil. Now, I don't know exactly what a valve should feel like if it shouldn't feel like that. I am happy as Larry. Golly, Larry's a happy man, isn't he? Right, you see this, Jamie? I have not had a handle for the knee of this mill since I bought it. For 3 years, just using the handle on it. Nightmare to dial things in. But we're gonna change that. I've got a special package arriving soon, hopefully today. Oh, you're kidding me, that fits? What? How did you know that that would fit?
I've done that before, I can't remember why.
That's hilarious. I've spent 3 years with this machine doing that. With this, up, down, gently, and then like by hand, squeezing it really hard. Oh my goodness. That spoils the surprise of what I should have arriving soon. Now we've got to drill that little hole for it. Oh, that's what we like. There she be. One piston valve. Now have a look at this. We're gonna try and work out what this is all for. We've got ourselves 2 slots. Remember, there's 2 outlets for air. Now one of these slots has a hole that goes in and then comes out at the end. It's another one of these ruddy 90-degree holes. So when this goes into the valve chest, there is a point at which the little hole ends up in line with the air or steam inlet, meaning that, presumably, at this setting, there is an amount of air that just gets exhausted straight out of the machine. And this is a means of doing that. I love how this fits. I really hope that's the proper tolerance, proper fit there. And you'll see that that lines up. Oh, it's meant to line up with this hole in the casting right there. It doesn't. Casting needs a little bit more fettling for that to line up in there. And then there's a linkage assembly that needs to be made that goes through that little hole right there. Oh, it wasn't so long ago we were talking about my knees, weren't we? Folks, look at that. At last. A knee handle. Yes! Oh, at last. That feels good, but oh my goodness, I forgot how much work it takes to lift the thing. I've gotten really complacent. Ah! Bugger! I'm such an idiot! What I was saying before I almost broke my arm is that I loved the past tense, the power feed, because it makes life so easy. And this is the first mill that I've had that has a power feed on the knee as well as on the y-axis. And I love it. Hey, you know what? I should probably find a strategy to make that never, ever happen again, because I could actually break an arm. The amount of force that power feed has. I think I've got the perfect solution here. There we go. Folks, there's more. We haven't taken quite as good a care of this mill as we should have. Now you see here for the x-axis, there is a table lock. And on this particular machine, it's operated by this grub screw because at some point in time, somebody must have snapped off the handle. Now a grub screw is not good enough for us because it's kind of annoying. I have to have this Allen key here the whole time and he charges by the hour. This screws in here and there we go. Loose, table moves freely, tighten it up, table is locked. That makes me happy to have that fixed at last. Next up, we also have a little bit of rubber. These are way covers, and they're gonna go over here to protect from getting all these chips on the ways, because that's not good for it. Look at the mess back there. That's what I'm talking about. High five for upgraded mill.
You've got crap all over the lens.
You weren't meant to touch the lens. I stopped. Jamie, you gotta go clean the lens. Jamie is playing a little game of draw between the lines.
I'm an artist.
The idea here is that we can hopefully make it clearer what part we're working on by highlighting it as we're about to work on it. Oh, bold move, it's blue. I'm blue, dabba-dee-dabba. You're becoming less and less accurate. You're going out on the lines more and more with each one.
Oosh.
It bled through onto the other side.
Not very much, but because I double checked that it wasn't going to do that.
It bled through so badly.
What do you mean so badly?
It looks awful. You have ruined. I was going to be so proud to hang this up on the wall.
Yeah, look, you're cheating by hanging it up in the light. When it's against a flat surface, the light can't penetrate. It looks fine.
It looks awful.
It looks fine.
Yeah, I want to highlight it.
It's important for the narrative. Now look how easy it is to look at this and be like, oh, these are all the bits that he's completed so far. I, as a viewer now, understand exactly what he has made.
It's actually quite practical to kind of see it in color, apart from the fact that it bled through. Ah, yes. Need that to fit through here. Next up, we're going to make this diddy little fellow. It's a gland and it goes on top of our valve chest. Oh, we're staying in the same area, folks. It's the part that these two screws are for, and it is just a diddy little thing. The metal we have to work with is this. It's a bit of brass, and what an interesting cross-section that is. And part of what excites me about this little thing is the absolute hell that we're going to have trying to fixture this. How? For the love of God, please, without having to use the 4-jaw chuck. Let me show you why I think this is going to be difficult. That bulb is on its way out. The 3-jaw is great for efficiency because there is a spiral that gets rotated as we use the chuck key that pulls all these jaws in and out relatively on center, meaning that you could hold a bit of round bar or a little bit of hex bar neatly between the jaws. Well, you see any issues there? That ain't gonna work. What that also means is that we won't be able to hold it in our indexing chuck here on the mill. Ah, that's a disappointment. And the trouble is, it definitely needs to go in either one of them because we have to turn this raised round section and drill and tap a nice accurate hole in there. It pains me to say that 4-jaw chuck is sitting just right there. Things I didn't want to have to do today included changing a chuck on my lathe. Well, we're here to have fun, aren't we? So why don't we have fun and change the chuck on the lathe for the first time here? Oh! 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 Well, hasn't come off yet. I've got no clue how to get the thing off. Right, to YouTube. Oh, smart. Check this out, Jamie. You put something in the tailstock and then clamp the chuck onto the thing in the tailstock so that the chuck doesn't just fall onto the bit of MDF that I put here. Okay, that guy's chuck just came off as soon as he did exactly what we've done. Got all these witness marks lined up. It's meant to just come off now. Yes! Woohoo! Oh, that's sick. Oh, good God. Oh, can you imagine if this chuck doesn't fit this lathe? Oh, it doesn't fit. No! This 4-jaw is much smaller than our lathe needs it to be. Well, on that delightful note, I guess you're gonna have to wait to find out how we make this piece till the next episode. Thank you. And as ever, please don't forget to check out today's sponsor, which was Squarespace. Build yourself a beautiful website now, you beautiful person.